Here. I'm just checking to see something. Oh. Let's see if the music will play all nice. Go back. Oh, look at me. Excuse me, I'm bad man. Let's see. Okay, there, because I'm trying to test it to see how it is. And the other device. Alright. Alright. It's like, yeah, that's not playing. Let's see. Oh, shoot. There it is. Okay, so it goes down with like the adjustment of. Alright. Does that sound alright to you? Or do you want anything up more or whatever? Okay. Cool. Alright, let me make sure I put it on shuffle. Sorry. Oh shit. That's what happened. So it literally went to everything else. Sorry about that. It'll be okay. Nice. I'll check that out after. Okay. So we're at chapter 4 of Choice of Robots. Cool. A year later, you find yourself on a flight to your first meeting with a big client. You are 26 years old and the year is 2021. The past year has been one of catching up for less time, as Josh tries to instill in you all the lessons he ever learned from starting a business. You often detect a note of reproach in his voice when he says, "As I learned in that startup competition back in college, regardless, you hope to prove yourself and Josh that you've overcome your lack of experience by landing this huge deal." Josh is seated to your left by the window, asleep. His turquoise internet-enabled glasses, with which he managed to sneak through the takeoff process, are skewed where his face meets the cabin. In the aisle seat, Elise fiddling with 3D models of Artemis on a tablet computer. Who is your big client? Spark Incorporated, maker of flying cars. Rudolph Ventures, a shipping company working on the newly melted North Pole. Galen Medical, a company specializing in surgical equipment. A man in Shanghai who wants to negotiate the import of 10,000 robots. Interesting. I'm kind of between Rudolph Ventures and Galen Medical. What are you thinking? Nagasaki, do you have any idea what you'd pick? Gavin? Alright. We're going with Gavin Medical, a company specializing in surgical equipment. Josh told you that this deal wasn't absolutely critical to the company's survival because it has a fair amount of investment capital behind it from angels. You assume not literally, but that you probably won't be able to build a dedicated robot factory until you find the backup big enough to justify the increased production. You open your laptop and go over your own presentation slides. The diagram showing the latest model of Artemis doesn't have anything to give the audience a sense of rare current scale. To give the audience a sense of size, you drop in a picture of a hobbit. Artemis hasn't changed in size since the point where Bill Gates. Artemis is the size of a human mouse, so that models of their type of it are equipped to perform human tasks. A Rango monster so big Ree couldn't fit on the plane. I guess I'll go with Bill Gates so Artemis can have, like, you know, just like an average way. So Bill Gates, Artemis is the size of a human mouse so that models of their type are better equipped to perform human tasks. You celebrated Artemis' first birthday with a new body the size of a human adult. Artemis has since appeared to take more responsibility, to think for himself, and appears more fearless, plus autonomy, plus military. However, you sometimes miss how cute Ree was with its little thing, negative empathy. Ree is also a little bit less steady when Ree rocks, negative grace. Alright, I have 2 proposed improvements on Artemis' design for you, Ellie says. Which one do you think we should go with for this presentation? Ellie hands you the tablet computer she's been fiddling with. Side by side there are 2 3D models so she can rotate and zoom with your fingers. One is sleek and has an Apple-style look to it. The prototype's hacked together metal parts have been replaced with a smooth, white plastic shell, reminding you of Eve from WALL-E. The joints remind you of an armadillo shell. The other design is somewhat more startling because it's a model of a smiling human. You uncheck the ticky box for the skin layer to reveal Artemis' original metal frame, along with Ellie's annotations for where the fake skin would be attached. Artemis' wings are preserved, but rather than a thin membrane of your previous design, Ellie's design has the wings sporting a rainbow of feathers like a phoenix. That's cool. You're impressed. Both forms are remarkable in their own right, and they also appear to be sound from an engineering point of view. Wow, you say. Sorry it's so last minute, Ellie says, but they're done before the meeting, like I promised. Let's go with your first design, Ellie, the sleek one. Let's go with your second design, Ellie, the human-like one. I'm sorry, Ellie, I like Artemis the way he is. It's like, I don't know if I feel like I want to make her more human-like, or if I want to make her more sleek, like WALL-E, because I mean, it's like, I just really like Artemis the way he is, because it's interesting, and I want Rhea to be able to be, you know, as themselves without having to, like, fit in humanity or fit in and act like they have to be like a sleek design or something. I really like the wings sporting a rainbow of feathers like a phoenix. This is my turn it down and make sure it's not too loud. I don't know. I might be a bit much for this thing too. So let's see. I like it a lot, but it's too hard. I know that I can get into people's heads. And it's also voices with mine. Yeah, and I turned it down, and it's like, it's just too much at once. I really get it. There, that's nicer. How is that? Sorry, is that okay? Did that hurt your ears or anything? Alright, cool. I get you. Sorry about that. I really don't like the idea of a smiling woman or whatever, but I mean at the same time, I really want the wings. That are like preserved 11 thin wings of a previous design. Because I just don't want it to look like Apple. It's like, I'd be fine with Sleek, but I'm just like, I don't want to look like Apple. I don't even like Apple, not gonna lie. I simply do not. And it's like a white plastic shell. If it was like black, I would go for it. It is so trash. And then they like hike up all the expenses and all this like planned stuff for them to like intentionally like fuck it over after like the next gen comes out. And like when iPod was out, they were iconic, you know, but yeah. iPhones suck. quick and simple, yeah. So I think I'm gonna go with the human-like one, and we're gonna see what happens. Because I just really don't like Apple, but I do like those wings, so I'm gonna go with that. You've really leapt over the uncanny valley with this one, you say, pointing to the human-like design. I think the secret is the Duchenne smile, Lily says. The crinkles around the eyes are necessary to give the impression that the robot's smile is genuine instead of fake. Human like that from Star Trek, yeah. Then it's plus empathy, so that's 4 pluses. Ellie grabs a few screen captures of the 3D model and sends them to you via local wireless so that you can update your presentation with them. The success of your presentation now seems even more urgent now that you see the amazing improvements you can make to Artemis if you had the cash. There, you say, and you turn to Ellie to get her opinion about a slide layout, but she is asleep. Deciding Ellie has the right idea, you close your laptop, nestle up against Ellie, and go to sleep. You find yourselves in the lobby of Gallon Medical waiting for the audience of the Vice President of Engineering. The stylized Caduceus behind the lobby's marble waterfall has an Art Deco look to it. It's the sort of Caduceus a captain of industry would approve of. A man decides, a slave obeys, Josh says, admiring the logo. Ayn Rand? Ellie says hesitantly. What? No. Bioshock, Josh says, offended at her lack of familiarity with the classic first-person shooter. Artemis walks back and forth nervously. Sorry again about having to check you, Artemis, you say. There's just no good alternative to flying for business travel. If I truly were an explosive device, I fail to see how putting me with the leverage would rectify the situation, Artemis grouses. The double doors to the Vice President of Engineering's office open, but instead of the Vice President of Engineering herself is a blonde-haired man in a black pea coat. We'll have some results for you by Saturday, he calls back into the Vice President of Engineering's office. We can discuss them after the barbecue. I assure you, you won't be disappointed by either the results or the meat. Without missing a beat, he walks up to you and introduces himself. Dennis Clark, Luminoso LLC. He says, we do text analytics and machine learning for medium-sized data. If you ever find yourself looking for new market opportunities, give me a ring. Your first sentiment analysis comes with a free barbecue. Come for the dimensionality reduction, stay for the delicious meat. He offers your smartphone to you in the, by now, universal gesture for sharing digital business cards. You examine his card on your phone. Dennis Clark, co-founder, Luminoso LLC, Vericon charity auction winner of Cameo and Choice of Robots. What kind of machine learning do you do? Got any tips? Hey, do you have any advice for a startup? You seem to be a smart guy. What is the secret to cooking delicious meat? I'm probably gonna ask machine learning, you do. Got any tips? Well, we started out doing simple dimensionality reduction with a singular value decomposition, but we've since moved on to manifold learning with varieties. You find it somewhat difficult to follow his very abstract exposition of his machine learning methods. As a computer scientist, you tend to think of things in code, and he's clearly thinking in abstract operators of that kind covered in those dense mathematics texts with plain yellow covers. But Artemis does the job of asking questions for you, and by the end, not only have you learned a variety of vocabulary in higher mathematics, but Artemis is holding her head and saying, oh, so the next time I need to solve a complex control problem, I only need to project the problem onto a lower dimensional manifold and solve the variety there. Plus grace, so we got our grace back. More or less, Dennis says with a nod. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go call my wife and discuss how we're gonna solve the world's economic problems, or at least solve what's wrong with economics. Dennis departs. Dang, Josh says, clearly annoyed Dennis. Hey, I've helped you with that charity auction, Eddie says, looking over your shoulder at the digital card. They raise money for a lot of good causes and auction off some really unique stuff. She looks over at Dennis speculatively, but what's Choice of Robots, I wonder? The Vice President of Engineering will see you now, the receptionist says. The Vice President of Engineering of Galen is an old woman who claims that PowerPoint is rotting the brains of executives everywhere and insists on reading something printed out. You hand her your business plan, and she dons her old horn-rimmed glasses to read it. When she gets to your revenue section, she chuckles a little. I'll let you in on a little tip, she says, because you're young and cute, and because I'm retiring in 2 weeks. Yes? We're going to turn around and sell these for 100 times what you're charging here, so you might as well charge us more. You're a little stunned as you work out implications. You're going to charge $100 million a robot. Josh beams at this figure. Finally, this is our big break. And that's cheap, she says lightly. Medical equipment is expensive. If you've been selling robots for any less, you probably didn't get buyers because they thought it was junk and mentally added the price of a lawsuit. When she studies your stunned expression, she adds, I could sit here and talk for hours about how the economics of this business is broken because of insurance and Medicare and so forth, but that's not really what you're here for, is it? Ellie gives you a look askance. I think what you're here for is changing the world, ma'am. This technology would have more impact if it were available to more people around the world. Will you raise your prices to what the Vice President of Engineering suggests? Hell yes, let's be rich. Let's get Galen to agree to sell the robots to hospitals at a more affordable price. Wait, she said her price was on the cheap side. Let's increase the prices further. I'm going to agree to sell the robots to hospitals at a more affordable price. We're not going to do that. I'm in this to change the world, not to maximize my profit, you say. I'd rather Galen agree to lower his prices. Josh shoots you an incredulous look. You'll have to excuse my friend here. I'm the CEO of US Robots and a negotiator for this deal. Hey, Ellie says, despite you and Ellie's objections, Josh pulls rank on you and agrees to the better price on your behalf. You sign a contract for $10 million robot, which is rather more than what you had originally anticipated. That puts you at $500 million in revenue for this batch of robots. Not bad. That will go a long way towards the cost of your factory. You agree to be paid half now, half on delivery, plus wealth. Josh is ecstatic. Ellie adopts a dark expression when you sign the contract. You can tell she isn't happy that Josh decided to overrule you and take the money instead. As you leave the Vice President of Engineering's office and return to the lobby, how will you react to Josh pulling rank on you? Josh seems to be a little grumpy himself right now. It is his company. He probably knows the economics better. I don't say anything. That was not cool. Josh, don't do that again. I quit. I'm gonna say that was not cool, Josh. Don't do that again. Why do you think you can negotiate in my place? Josh says, irritated himself. Did you study business? Have you been running a company for years now? Don't question my decisions. This seems to be a sore point with Josh. You suppose he let you make some pretty important decisions already for the company, but after some further thought discussion, he agrees that you will be able to make the next major decision for the company. With a deal in hand, you now build a robot factory. You meet up with Josh for coffee to discuss the plan. So where do you think we should build this thing? Josh asks. Detroit, Michigan. I see a bunch of listings for factories that are cheap. They probably have a good labor pool for manufacturing. Shenzhen District, China, a common location for tech company outsourcing, with cheap but skilled labor. Silicon Valley, over standard states dig their stock to have access to the most skilled. Oh my gosh, and it went back to it. But nope. 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 I might have to actually,